In terms of extravagance, wealthy people today have gone even further than those in ancient times. As the economy has developed in many countries, many people have become wealthy. However, most wealthy people have not studied the teachings of the ancient sages. They do not know that the wealth coming from society should be contributed back to society, especially to those in need. Instead, wealthy people spend their money in extravagant and wasteful ways. They chase luxury clothes, cars, accessories, cosmetics and handbags. They do not even know where else they should spend the money. What is the consequence? The wealth of the family usually cannot last for more than 3 generations, and sometimes only 1 generation. Those of us who study the governing principles of ancient China can understand why some people continue to live a very simple life, even after they have become rich or powerful. They donate money to good causes, such as establishing schools and helping the poor. For example, the Chinese who went to Southeast Asia in the last century painstakingly established their careers. After making a lot of money and achieving success in business, their diligent and thrifty ways remained. At the same time, they were still generous towards their motherland's development, especially with building schools and financially helping kids from poor families go to school. They were not stingy at all. Why? Because they studied traditional Chinese culture and they knew that extravagance would not only bring disasters to themselves, but to their descendants as well. They also knew it would create social problems. What deep social problems will extravagance cause? The answer can be found in Mozi, in the governing principles of ancient China. It says, if rich and powerful people are living an extravagant and luxurious life, while the solitary and miserable are suffering from cold and hunger, it is impossible for such a nation to avoid chaos. Therefore, if the ruler wants a peaceful and well-governed nation and hates to see it in disorder, the ruler must not indulge in excessive eating and drinking. Mozi continues to say, before knowing how to make boats and carts, primitive people could neither carry a heavy load nor travel a great distance. Thus, the sage kings made boats and carts to help the people. The boats and carts were made durable and convenient so that they would carry much and travel far. Such an undertaking takes little wealth but produces many benefits. Naturally, the people found it agreeable and convenient. The people were not tired and the ruler's needs were met. So the people loved and followed him. Today, when emperors make boats and carts, the situation is quite different. Having the boats and carts made durable and convenient, the emperors then required the people to decorate them. The carts are decorated with embroidery and boats with carving. Thus, women have to stop weaving cloth to do the embroidery, so the people are left with no cloth and are cold. Men have to abandon agriculture to do the carving, so the people become hungry. When the ruler builds such boats and carts for himself, his assistants naturally imitate him. Therefore, the people become victims of both hunger and cold. Under these circumstances, wickedness will arise and fraud will be committed. As crimes increase, the penalties become more severe. As a result, the country suffers from chaos. If a ruler wants a peaceful and well-governed nation and hates to see it in disorder, the ruler must not indulge himself in constructing excessively adorned boats and carts. Therefore, back to our original question, what deep social problem will be caused by the ruler's extravagance? The nation could fall into chaos. In current society, cars are increasingly luxurious. Air pollution is worsening and fuel resources are being depleted. but many people still appear to be endlessly pursuing a lifestyle of extravagance and waste. If the whole society advocates extravagance, what happens to the country? What happens to our resources? What happens to our environment? And what happens to our future? Another classic, Guanzi, provides further analysis. If a nation prevails in extravagance and waste, the national discretionary expenditure will be excessive. If the national discretionary expenditure is excessive, people will become poor. If ordinary citizens suffer from poverty, wickedness will arise. If wickedness arises, fraud will be committed. Therefore, why does wickedness arise? One reason is poverty. Why is fraud committed? One reason is because people want to enjoy extravagant and luxurious lifestyles like others do. Facing limited prospects of wealth through honest means, what can they do? Some will commit fraud. Therefore, Guanzi concludes, wickedness and fraud is the result of insufficient resources, and the cause of insufficient resources is extravagance. How to suppress the root cause of wickedness and fraud? The nation must start with advocating fiscal responsibility and fight against the practice of extravagance, corruption, and wastefulness. This is a matter for the whole nation and every family.